Right, welcome to another episode of the AfroPrenuer podcast where we meet African entrepreneurs doing amazing work from different walks of life and go inside their mind to understand a little bit of what they're thinking, how they operate, what's their thought process, and what things they've accomplished.
The AfroPrenuer Podcast, a podcast for African entrepreneurs, presents inspiring, innovative, and disruptive entrepreneurs from Africa as they share their lessons, insights, and learnings from their unique entrepreneurial ventures. I'll be your host. My name is Ogweno Stephen. Let's roll.
And today we're here with Mr. Stephen.
Yes.
Mr. Stephen Maithya is the official name. Stephen is just how everybody else calls him. So Stephen is a multi-award-winning photographer, videographer, and creator overall. And he'll be talking to us about some of his work, some of the processes, how he thinks, how he gets into the award, and then we'll talk a bit about the business side of things. And maybe we might do another episode and talk off topic, going now into details of how he thinks around different topics, especially around leadership and entrepreneurship. But before that, give us a very detailed introduction of yourself, what you do, and where you are at the moment with the work.
So thank you, Stowell. My name is Stephen Maithya, alias Stephen. Like he has said, I'm a photographer, videographer. I'm also a creative director, an art director, and scriptwriter. Yes, so in photography, my work revolves around conceptual and fantasy photography, which is an incredible skill, especially when I apply it in advertising photography. So right now I'm into the fashion, event, and advertising space.
Mm-hmm. So that's just the photography part. We
That
need
is the
a
photography.
detailed videography part.
So videography is more of covering events and content creation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so creating content for brands, so be it personal brands like influencers, etc. We have SMEs, and we also have large scale or rather large companies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good. So let's now dive a little bit more into the story behind yourself. So how did it become that you eventually ended up as a photographer? We also know, I mean, the viewers don't know yet, but I know that you also have a very strong background in chemistry and in science as a scientist per se. So, what was the journey from where did we get the spark to get into photography, and how did it start?
Thank you. That is a very wonderful question. So, growing up when I was in primary school, I used to draw.
Mm-hmm.
I used to draw a lot, so I even remember there was a time I drew. I think the person who taught me, or rather the person who influenced me into art, is my dad. So I remember there was this one time he came from work and he just told me, like, showed me how to draw a car. So just a simple car. So from there, that's when that artistic side of me was ignited. That's where everything started for me. So from there, I kept on drawing and having these imaginations here and there and whatnot. So from the drawing in primary school, now transitioning to high school, whereby now I was involved in extracurricular activities such as drama. So from the drama, I remember I'd see people act, which fascinated me, and I got into the thespian club, which at the time was drama club. It's one and the same thing. Then from there, I advanced. I worked on my skill. I worked on my talent. I started script writing. I remember script writing, acting. I started in Form 1. Then script writing from Form 2, Form 3 there. Yeah, so I did a lot of acting in high school. I did write a number of scripts in high school, which I won awards for back then. Because many people don't know that side of me. I am an actor, still an actor, of course, but I was the best actor in my high school.
Mm.
So having that foundation in primary school, I did not engage in any extracurricular activity because there it was just academics purely. Our school was emphasizing on academics mostly. Then now coming to high school, I got that opportunity at least to engage myself in extracurricular activities. So that's when I started, acting and all that. So when I was in Form 1, there was this Form 4 that I saw who had a camera. And when I asked around, I was told that Form 4s are allowed to come with cameras, only if you're a Form 4. So Form 1, Form 2s, Form 3, it's not allowed, but for Form 4s, it was allowed. So I promised myself that when I get to Form 4, at least I'll also get myself this small camera. So when I got to Form 4, now I've acted for 3 years, now coming to my 4th year, and I'm almost completing high school. That's when I asked my mom to buy me a camera, this pocket-sized camera. Then now from there I started taking pictures. So taking pictures of anything and everything. So if I'm in classroom and it's during preps, I document whatever goes on behind the scenes when we are doing preps. If we are doing maybe jokes, because at times we'll do jokes in between sessions and all that. So I was the person who was recording all that, and even my teachers also, they came to know about that, and they were very free with me. If there was anything, maybe an event or something was supposed to happen, they'd tell me, "Hey Steve, Niaje, we are having this and this and this, come and maybe do a video or take photos of this and that." So when we would have, let's say, house meetings, when we were on parades, so I used to document all that. So that's how my journey started. But there is a bit that I've left out. There was this security guy in high school. His name was Lokwizi. So Lokwizi was the school photographer in a way. At that time, I don't think the name photographer was being used. I think it was just cameraman. Because it evolved from cameraman to now photographer to now something else. So at the time we were using the term cameraman. So Lokwizi was our school cameraman. And so I learned a few things from him, especially on the business side, not on the technical, but most on the business side. So unfortunately, he passed on later, way on after I completed high school, but he's the one that I think I picked up just a few things about the craft. But the other things, it was just from me being in drama club. So me being in drama club, it's the thing that made, or rather conditioned my thinking in a creative way. So how I think, it all started when I was in high school. Yeah, as a creative.
Yeah, and this is one of the best high schools in the country. We are talking here, Alliance Boys. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is a sort of a caveat. How did we end up being in science and being in chemistry when primarily we already had this very high inclination to arts?
So all along, I have been a science nerd. Since when I was a kid growing up, I was the best student in science in primary school and also overally, because I remember in my KCP I was position 2 in our school. Then I went to Alliance, so I wanted to do medicine. I wanted to become a doctor growing up. So when I finished my high school, unfortunately my, what are they called? Is it points or cluster points, something like that. So I wanted to, if I'm doing medicine, I wanted to do medicine in UN. And my cluster points could not ascertain the cluster points of medicine in UN at the time. So because I just was aiming for UN, and I asked myself, what other thing can I do that is not medicine? So I saw engineering. What can I do in engineering? So when I was doing my research, I found out that I could do chemical engineering, but chemical engineering was now being offered in, was it Moi University? Yeah, Moi University. So you see, at that time I wasn't well versed with so much, and I was still a kid who is growing up. So ile akili unasema I can't, siwezi enda kusomea ushago. Like I want to study within the vicinity of Nairobi. It's either Nairobi or somewhere near Nairobi, whereby at least I have a relative who is here. If I go to Moi University is
Too far.
So that is what brought about the change from now chemical engineering, which was being offered only in Moi University at the time, to now deciding to do analytical chemistry. So it went from medicine to chemical engineering, now to analytical chemistry in Kenyatta University. Yes.
I see. Yeah, that's an interesting confluence of events from both sides, but happens to all of us. I mean, we all wanted to be somewhere else, and then circumstances and whatnot.
I wanted to be, my aim was to be either two things in life. Either a cardiovascular surgeon or a gynecologist. Yes.
Yeah, so why the two interests?
One, cardiovascular was because of, not because of this person, but this is someone that I looked up to, though he was doing something entirely different. His specialization was something different. Ben Carson. So Ben Carson as a neurosurgeon, so with me, he influenced me, even in my academics and all that. But I wanted to do something different, and especially something to do with the cardiothoracic space. Then gynecologist, I think I just felt like I could help women, especially women, become better. Help women
improve their health.
Yes. Because I remember I used to read a lot of books in to do with the heart, and also the human genitalia.
Right, cool. So we'll divert this a bit and go into beginner photographer. Beginner in the sense of once you started from school and now you are just beginning as a professional. When did that start? How did that look like? What was the journey from high school where we were shooting for fun to starting engaging as a photographer, videographer now on a more serious note? What are the early days looking like?
So I remember when now I've completed my studies and now there's this, what next? So I think before I joined Kenyatta University, there was this club in Mombasa known as Little Theatre Club. So Little Theatre is a space for creatives whereby they come during specific times, you interact, you network, you get to exchange ideas, you get to exchange concepts and all that. So there is this actress in Mombasa, her name is Stephen Maithya. So when I went to Little Theatre, I met her, we had a conversation, and she told me that I could, we could do something, especially in the acting space. So I remember she introduced me to her crew. Then I was given a contract. At the time I was, I think 18, transitioning to 19. So I was given a contract to be a set runner in a certain film. So now this is another platform that enabled me, now it groomed me as a director. Because I was there as a set runner. So set runner, if maybe there's anything that is needed or you need to move this thing from point A to B, that's what a set runner does. But mostly you're like the errand boy for the set. So if this is needed, yeah. So I learned a few things on directing, on professionalism, how a professional set is run, and all that. So these are the elements that I picked from there. Then unfortunately, I think KU sent me a letter, so I had to report to school and leave what I was doing. So I came to KU, joined the first year to pursue analytical chemistry with management, but I did not quit acting because I remember I joined one of the acting theaters here in KU just for a very short while. Then I continued with photography with the camera that I had initially from high school.
Alright, thanks for listening, and that's a wrap for this episode. For more exciting episodes like this, don't forget to follow our podcast, the AfroPrenuer Podcast, on all streaming sites, and visit our website at www.ogwenostephen.com. See you on the next one.